All right, guys. So, like many people right now, I'm still trying to dig into the motives of Tyler Robinson, the alleged uh, killer of Charlie Kirk. It's a very complicated situation. Many people on both sides are trying to make it extremely simple. It's not extremely simple. In fact, all of the people that are trying to make it so are, in my opinion, bad faith actors and should be treated as such. To be clear, for the sake of argument, hypothetically, let's say that Tyler Robinson is like a far left extremist, as like certain people are trying to paint him. I have no problem with that. All I care about is what is true. Even if it's true, even if like 100% all of the evidence pointed to it, and it doesn't, by the way, but even if it did, it wouldn't really change the big picture, the important thing here that they're trying to frame. There's more than one claim here. So there's the claim that, at least by MAGA, that Tyler Robinson was an extremist left winger. And then there's the claim that this is a massive problem that needs to be addressed because left-wing violence is out of control. The first claim is open. The second claim is not. I've already put statistics down from, well, official statistics that a vast majority of all extremist crime is committed by the far right. In fact, in 2023, I believe, which is some of the most recent data we have, it was like 2 years in a row, all extremist attacks were committed by the far right. All, not most, all. That's how extreme of a disparity there is. So let me pull up something else here as well. This is domestic terrorism incidents by type. It's from the Investigative Fund. This shows it breaks it down by an orange axe and in blue foiled. And all of it together is like attempts, I guess. Some of them succeeded, some of them did not. But a vast majority, almost 120 from 2008 to 2016, almost 120 were committed by the right wing. A little over 60 was committed by Islamists, and less than 20 were committed by the left wing. This isn't like some strange one-off. All of the data shows this year by year, like over and over from various sources. This notion that there's an epidemic of left-wing violence is bullshit. You have to stop listening to like your favorite fucking political commentators and actually go by data. Data can't lie. All right. So, hold on. How do I want to start this? Let's begin with Kash Patel. Kash Patel is very problematic. He had absolutely no qualifications for the job as FBI director in the first place. Similar to Tulsi Gabbard, pretty much all of Trump's cabinet are picked because they're yes men or yes women. It was at least perceived by Trump that they would do whatever he said, no questions asked. That's why they were chosen. not because they were suited for the task at hand. And that's a big problem. And that's one major reason why MAGA has just failed considerably at almost everything they've tried. In some ways, that's a good thing. In some ways, it's a negative thing, because these positions exist for a reason. It's kind of a big deal that you make sure that people are qualified for those positions. But we've got essentially like a fucking online edgelord and Kash Patel, who has absolutely no fucking clue what he's doing. And we'll look at some evidence of this here with Kash Patel and Adam Schiff. I want you to note Kash Patel's behavior. He starts off a little bit more like, playing the game, trying to cover his ass. And as time goes on, you'll see that he gets more and more defensive. And it's highly illustrative that he is just lying. He's caught red-handed, and he doesn't like it.
Mr. Patel, during your confirmation hearing, you made several important commitments. For instance, you told Senator Coons there will be no politicization at the FBI. There'll be no retributive actions taken by any FBI should I be confirmed as FBI director. So let me ask you very specifically, did you ever take any action to terminate or discipline an FBI agent or employee in whole or in part as retribution for being part of an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
No.
You also committed, you assured Senator Blumenthal, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. So you're testifying today that you played no role in the firing of even a single FBI agent for political retribution.
None for political retribution.
That's what you said. Was that true, Mr. Patel?
I'll rely on you quoting it accurately. I did that a
Was
couple
it
of years
true
ago.
what you represented to Mr. Beck and the president's supporters out there, or were you lying?
No.
Was it true that the black book, Epstein's black book, was in the possession of the FBI director?
The black book was in the possession of the FBI.
Okay, so now that you're the FBI director, you have possession of the black book, right?
That index has been released.
So you have Jeffrey Epstein's black book?
What is known as Jeffrey Epstein's black book has been released by us.
And you released it. And let me follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because he asked you, and I'll be very precise here. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have again is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never
Patel?
said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
Did he traffic any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question,
And I
Senator Kennedy's
said
question.
the information that 3 administrations have had access to
I'm
have
asking-
made determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm
Well,
specifically
I'm asking
stating
you whether
we
it's
were
your
working on.
testimony today.
Well,
that-
you just read
that
it, and I said it 10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my
I
testimony.
just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims like Virginia Guifer who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise. And you're telling the American people today that the
Deputy Attorney General took the aggressive step that no one else did and interviewed Miss Maxwell for
I'm
2
asking you,
days,
who are
and we
the ca-
released
who are
the
the cabinet
entirety
members?
of that
Who are the cabinet
transcript.
members?
I do not have that transcript in front of me. You're picking it piecemeal. The American
And-
public can read
Let me
the
ask
entirety
you
of that.
one last question, because you clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
Prisons.
the Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that?
I was muted earlier whenever I popped in, but I basically just wanted to call attention to this is the part where it becomes really obvious and shows Patel's true colors.
Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
You're not in
inmates.
the weeds.
What I am
The
doing is
most-
protecting
the
this
most-
country,
the
providing
most
historic
significant
reform
witness-
and
the most
combating the
significant witness,
weaponization of intelligence
Epstein
by the
files
likes of you.
cover-up
And we have
gets
countlessly proven you to
from
be a
your
liar in
administration,
Russiagate, in
and you call
January
that
6th.
being
You are
in
the
the
biggest
weeds?
fraud.
Notice how Patel is trying to obfuscate from the situation. This tends to happen when people get really defensive. They do everything they can to like attack the person that's bringing up allegations or that they feel is attacking them, and they'll pivot and they'll go, "This is what you did," and all that. And what he's doing is he doesn't realize it, but he's showing that he's hiding something. He's showing that Schiff has hit a nerve. He's made a point, and Patel knows it, and he's getting very, very defensive as a result.
To ever sit in the
This
United States
stinks to
Senate,
high
you are a
heaven.
disgrace to this
This stinks to high
institution
heaven.
and an utter
And
coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not
I'm
surprised
not
that you continue
surprised
to lie
that
from your
that
perch and put on a show
view
so you can go
of you,
raise money
Patel,
for your
and for good
charade.
reason.
You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this
make an
country
internet troll.
and the state and
The
citizens
FBI
of the
director
California.
will
We
always
are
be
bringing
nothing more
historic
than an
reform.
internet
Historic.
troll.
order. But all you
Notice how Adam Schiff, while he does get, his voice does go up. Well, to some extent, that's necessary because Patel's trying to out-talk him and just scream over him. He's like a complete fucking idiot. Adam Schiff is far more reserved, far more in control, and making his points. And in case you couldn't make it out, it was somewhere along the lines of you can make an internet troll the FBI director, but he'll always be an internet troll. And he's right.
care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
You said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
Take control of this situation.
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Okay. I personally think that is extremely telling. So that's just to illustrate Kash Patel and his character. So let's look into a Keith Edwards video. This one's about 10 minutes and 34 seconds. I'm going to play the whole thing because some of the little details are important. Would have been nice if I hadn't have took down screen sharing and just swapped, but it's too late now. Here we are.
Uh-oh. Kash Patel and Donald Trump and the rest of MAGA have gotten themselves into quite a pickle because they dangled out this carrot. It feels very similar to the Epstein files stuff in terms of what they presented, what MAGA expected, and what they were given. So I'm going to show you these text messages from the FBI. I just want to say at the start, I am going to talk about the stuff that they're showing us, but I don't trust them. I don't trust the FBI. They're compromised, in my opinion. I hate saying that. I mean, maybe we should never trust the FBI anyways, but we should have a healthy skepticism of the FBI in the best set of circumstances, but I certainly do not trust Kash Patel's FBI. No, not one bit. So I don't believe I'm going to wait till the trial, because the trial, you got to present evidence, you got to back it up. And so then we'll know what happened then. Normally, actually, these things wouldn't have a trial, but because it's so high profile, they definitely want to go through and not, they don't want to do a deal or anything like that. So they're going to do a trial. That's a good thing, because we're going to get all the facts. But in the meantime, what Kash Patel and the FBI and everyone else are doing, they're trying to create a narrative to make this seem one way when it actually seems like it's kind of a complicated person who was needing some help and found it in the wrong places online in the depths of the internet. Okay. That aside, these text messages are out. They sound weird to me. They don't sound like they're written by someone who is extremely online. They don't sound like they're written by young, like young adults. If you haven't seen the text, and by the way, MAGA is not buying the text, but if you haven't seen them, if you haven't heard them, because some of you watch, some of you listen, here is some of the text messages being read aloud.
When the roommate looked under the keyboard, there was a note that allegedly read, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you.
You weren't the one who did it, right?
I am. I'm sorry.
I thought they caught the person.
No. They grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering.
Why?
Why did I do it?
Yeah.
I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it.
Just a moment here. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that the note mentioned at the very beginning is the note that allegedly that Kash Patel claimed we had it in evidence and it was destroyed. It may have been a different note that he was talking about, but regardless, what kind of incompetent fucking idiot? Like, what the fuck? You don't hear of shit like that happening. Not in this is the Federal Bureau of fucking Investigation. What the fuck? Like, why? Like, from what I've been able to pick up, there was nothing else said about it. It was destroyed. Do you not take your job seriously? Like, what the fuck? Anyhow, continuing.
How long have you been planning this?
A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. EDEC if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about Prince. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge ooh-woo on Fox News, I might have a stroke all right, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine IDK. I think that was a 2K scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me RN, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm gonna turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love.
I'm much more worried about you.
Okay, so that to me does not sound like a young person. It does sound like a script. Now, there could be a couple reasons for that. One, the FBI could be cleaning up some of the language here. I don't know why they would do that. They could be doing that. There's a lot of ellipses in this text messaging, so maybe they're just showing the relevant parts for the case. And maybe if we could see all of it, it would sound more natural. Could also be that that the roommate and Robinson plan to write this to I don't know, to make the roommate seem innocent. That's a possibility. We don't know. We have to wait for the trial. MAGA likes to jump the gun.
Very true. MAGA does like to jump the gun, but I do want to include one little piece here. I agree basically with everything he's saying. This does not look legitimate at all. Also, who the fuck would ever literally just get done with a fucking assassination and be concerned about what his father would think about a rifle missing or it being gone? Like, what the fuck? That doesn't even, it's not even believable.
They just like to make assertions, okay, without evidence. Steve Bannon, Candace Owens, and many others are doing that. So here's Steve Bannon talking about the text messages and how he doesn't trust them.
We have to escalate, and it's not towards violence. Have you seen anybody in Charlie Kirk's arena? Have you seen anybody on the right go burn down anything, go threaten anybody? No, but we're going to get to the bottom and destroy this. Gave a talk to the CPI guys last night. That's Senator DeMint and Mark Meadows' kind of umbrella organization for conservatives, like conservative leaders. And I said, this is an inflection point, that those that have just been going along to get along have gotten us here because they haven't stood up. And now you see with what happened at Charlie Kirk. And as bad as it's presented in Utah, I'm not buying all of it. I'm particularly not buying those text messages. It just seems too stilted, too much like a script, actually a bad script. So we got to get to the bottom of it. You have to designate these groups. You heard Aaron Sabarium from Free Beacon. He's got this piece of.
Yeah. So Steve Bannon's not buying it. Candace Owens just alleges that they were fake. Here's someone in MAGA saying, starting to look like he could have gotten away with it cleanly if he hadn't left the rifle and if he hadn't said anything to anyone close to him. These videos and pictures are really blurry. So they're starting to kind of drum up some conspiracies around this. Here's Candace Owens saying that she thinks the U.S. government is doctoring the messages.
Yeah, these messages are clearly doctored, is what I would say. They're doctored. Now, they could decide why they're doing that. Tyler's being forthcoming. We're protecting him in some capacity. I find that to be unacceptable. Okay? Unacceptable. I want every single text message. I want timestamps. It is conspicuous that you are not telling us when this was sent, because it sounds like it's when the campus is on lockdown and he's got to go back and he's got to clean up. And then all of a sudden we're in the next day when his dad is getting clued in after the picture's been released. They're not telling us that. Okay. And you have a right to be a little bit uncomfortable about that, because I'm a lot of bit uncomfortable about that. We need full answers.
So, right out of the gates, Candace Owens has the intellectual capacity of a fucking grapefruit. I don't take many things she says seriously, but on this specific point, I completely agree. Why are we not getting the full fucking thing? Why is everything not being included here? There's no good reason that I can think of to exclude it. Now they can always go, well, it's an ongoing investigation, and we have to blah blah blah. You know, the shit that's always fucking pulled up. He's already in custody. There's no reason not to include the full fucking thing for the public. I really don't think that it's even legitimate. It very much seems to be a script. And apparently several people on the right happen to agree.
It sounds very Epstein-esque. And here's Matt Walsh saying, I'm leaning very strongly towards the theory that this text exchange was scripted as a way to absolve the boyfriend. It's almost exactly what Walter White did at the end of Breaking Bad. This feels like a strategy they cooked up from watching too much TV. Someone else said, I see the FBI has taken to writing fan fiction. Young gay men talk to one another like this. Half of it is in cop speak, interrogated, squad car, retrieve it, swept that spot. And why does he address multiple loose ends in a combo with his significant other unprompted after expressing that he didn't want him involved? You're not good at this. And then someone else, I mean, they're just like trying to.
This right here, I think, is the best. This is very fucking excellent points. Pay attention.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I have a really hard time believing in a short text message exchange that alleged the shooter makes his confession, confirms the location of the weapon, blah, 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 blah. Not to mention, and this guy points out, 22-year-old terminally online Zoomer using online phrases like squad car. And then there is actually.
Why did he just fucking like blah 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 through that? That is extremely fucking important. I think it's the best point made so far. Let's go back a little bit. Makes his confession, confirms location of the weapon, confirms the type of weapon, confirms it was wrapped in a towel, confirms his motive, exonerates the decoy, George Zinn, admits to the bullet engravings, confirms the wardrobe change, confirms how long he's been planning it, discloses the existence and location of a now destroyed.
Makes his confession, confirms the location.
Pre-written confession note. That one's important. A now destroyed pre-written confession note, not evidence. Randomly tells his boyfriend that his dad is diehard MAGA, as if he wouldn't already know given the nature of their relationship, and is worried about his dad/grandpa being upset if he doesn't come home with the rifle, not the fact that he just used it to commit a murder.
The weapon, blah, 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 blah. Not to mention, and this guy points out, 22-year-old terminally online Zoomer using online phrases like squad car. And then there is actually interesting things around the charging document. Someone points out that they specifically argue that in the document, we learn he surrendered himself to the police, confirming that it was not messages from a trans lover, as was previously said, who turned him in, and not the work of the FBI. I mean, it's just crazy. We live in a time where the FBI cannot be trusted at all. So I don't, maybe some people will listen to that and they'll be like, you trusted the FBI. I think on some level we could trust the good work of the FBI. And it's like stuff like this. Like this is a small thing, but it's a big deal that they were lying to us about how they caught him. And then when the evidence came out, because they actually want to convict this person, they can't lie. Then we realize that the FBI, Kash Patel, and the rest of them were making stuff up just to make this as bad as possible. Anyways, we will be following this. It's not going to go away. We're going to keep following this. I do believe there is something going on here. We got to figure out what it is. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit like in the video. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We are almost at 900,000 subscribers. Crazy. And then I will see you soon. Bye.
Okay. I really don't care about how many subscribers you have, dude, but good work. I want to dig into part of what he mentioned about it being complicated, because it is. So most of the evidence that I've seen involving his alleged like left-wing extremism has been hearsay. A vast majority of it. So we do have two pieces of evidence here that point in completely the opposite direction. At least these two. There may be more that I'm unaware of, but let me go ahead and share these. This right here is a post in October on Halloween of 2018 by Amber Jones Robinson, the mother of Tyler Robinson. Happy Halloween. Handing out candy alone since these weirdos ditched me. Tyler is some guy from a meme. Austin is the crazy end of the world homeless guy. And Logan is a fancy skeleton. Hashtag my kids are weird. Hashtag happy Halloween. Hashtag boy mom. So this is Tyler, some guy from a meme. This is the meme in question. This is obviously a Groyper type deal. This is a far right movement, and it was like a brief meme, a brief like movement where people were doing like the Adidas like freaking Russian mafia style shit, and highly linked to the far right. Pepe the Frog, I shouldn't need to even explain this. This is very damning if you're trying to like paint him as like an extremist leftist. And some people are claiming that the university, like the university indoctrinated him. There's no evidence of that. And also he was there for a very short period of time. And I think it was even online. Like, you're not doing a very good job, people. Here's the other piece of evidence. On one of the shell casings was, this doesn't, oh, there it is. Bella Ciao. Many people don't know what that is. So Bella Ciao is a song that is highly associated with the Groyper far-right extremist group. This right here is a playlist directly from like the official Groyper Wars fucking, this is their song list. Sure, it's not like direct, like absolute proof of anything, but it's something that should be considered. And a lot of people, especially like the MAGA people, are doing everything they can to avoid this information. Let me see if I had anything else. No, that's pretty much it. So, again, I'm perfectly fine conceding that Tyler Robinson was like an extreme leftist at the time, if it turns out to be the case, but we don't have enough evidence to confirm that yet. If we do, I'll concede it immediately, as soon as there's evidence to point toward that, like, strongly. But there's conflicting evidence that points in the other direction as well. And even if you make the case that he changed and became extreme left, which again, we don't have complete evidence for, you can't take out the influence of the far right, which he obviously was a part of at some point. So you can't just go, oh, he just swapped and all of his ideology changed all of a sudden. You can't take out the fact that he had like the extremist violent like tendency, most likely at least, from being like a Groyper dude. So it could be easily fucking put forth that was instrumental in him becoming like an extremist and sniping someone. You don't hear of leftists fucking sniping people. It's like almost unheard of. He was brought up in an extreme MAGA household, being extremely pro-gun. In fact, the gun that was used is alleged to be from his grandfather and was given to him by his father. At least I'm pretty sure on that. But either way, you can't separate that. That's part of who he is. So, like, you're going to have to do more than just go, okay, he has some association with left-wing ideology. That doesn't mean that the left-wing ideology is responsible for the atrocity, that it's like caused him to do what he did. Like, you're going to have to do better than that, people. Thank you for your time.